Navy blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go coffee, Son Ranto.
With Michael.
Son Ranto.
And Crawley.
Son Ranto and the lovable loser. Son Ranto.
With Michael.
Son Ranto.
And Crawley.
Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto.
Hey, oh, wow. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show. That was the lovely strains of Infield Fly Girl coming at you. We only got half the Son Ranto call because it wasn't unmuted in time.
No!
I know, but we heard the end. I saw you screaming. Too bad the people that are watching the show right now did not get to see the entire length. It was very John Vincent anthem-esque what you gave us.
I can do it again. No, it's fine. We won't.
Yeah, no, we've got too much to get through tonight to be just screaming the name of our show all day. But yeah, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. I'm Danny Rocket. That's Infield Fly Girl, and I saw in the chat that Dominic said, "I can't wait for Michael's rants." Michael Cotton, unfortunately, is not going to be here tonight. He is at a concert that his wife got him tickets to that he didn't know about until very recently. And then she's like, well, you have to go to this concert. And so that is what he's doing. But people do like your call there. Bernie says, bravo, IFG. And,
Thank you. I was a herald.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Exactly.
Do you remember when Fergie Jenkins got, I think it's when he got his statue and they had like the Canadian town crier come and he was like, hear ye, hear ye. Yes. Everybody was,
oh, yay, oh, yay, oh, yay.
And that's it. And everybody was like, the hell is going on? We're in the middle of Chicago. Nobody says, oh, yay. The hell? So this show, the Son Ranto Show, is brought to you by our 115 Patreon supporters. And, of course, Blake Beard's tickets. Thanks at the Blake Beard on Twitter for putting up your awesome seats for sale to the Ranters. The Carrie Bronner-Meyer and her husband Josh sat in them today. I saw them over by the firehouse after the game. Great to see them. We haven't gotten too much of a chance to get together this year, but they're awesome. And also, I want to thank Bernie Barron for floating me a bleacher ticket today. I didn't end up using it, but I did. She did give me one. And I got a really funny Bernie Barron story. Well, I might as well tell it now as long as we're on Bernie Barron so I don't forget. So she went on Thursday was Stuart McVicker from Club 400's birthday. And here's the picture of his cake, his Club 400 cake, his little baseball cake.
So pretty.
And one of the Shawon Dunston was there. And one of the things you can do is take a picture with Shawon Dunston. And so I did. And right in line with me, I was standing there with Bernie. And we're in line together. And Bernie went ahead of me. And so when you go up there, you put your arm around Shawon Dunston and they take a picture of you and stuff. But when that was during that whole exchange of putting your arm around each other, Bernie freaking threw a bow right in Dunston's cheek and hit him right in the face. And then she was mortified. So like I didn't get the picture of Bernie hitting Dunston in the cheek, but I did see it with my very own eyes. But I do have the aftermath, and there's Bernie's mortified face. As you can see, she just absolutely. You see the Shawon-o-meter in the background, and Bernie's face there is the mortified-o-meter right there.
That's delightful.
But Dunston thought it was funny. He did not punch her back, so that was good.
That's a win to me. How many people get to say they've punched Shawon Dunston in the face?
Exactly. So it's badge of honor. This show is also brought to you by Rogue Wave Creative, easy for me to say, for branding and graphic design needs. And I got something to say about Lawrence, too, from the Rogue Wave Creative. So Lawrence, he writes me and he goes, hey, he goes, don't ask me how, but I've got 5 jerseys, and they're various players of current Cubs. So they're not like, I think they're the real kind of knockoff Chinese jerseys is what I think they are.
Yeah.
And but they can be of varying quality from what I understand.
The DH Gate special. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains.
So he's like, I got 5 free ones. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I'd like to give them away on the show. I'm like, sounds good. We'll think of a contest or something. We'll give away these 5 jerseys. And he goes, here's the thing. they're I don't even know how to say this. 5XL. I know how to say quadruple, but quintuple. They're quintuple. There you go.
Yeah.
They're quintuple size jerseys.
So big old jerseys.
Well, maybe they're from China, so they might be mediums. I don't know.
Right.
But but I said, well, what we'll have leading up to the Christmas holidays, and then maybe we'll give it away right at the New Year, is a weight gain competition. So whoever gains the most weight during the holiday season wins all 5 jerseys. I mean, I don't know if you could get up to 5XL, but
yeah, I'm trying to think of what the conversion is in DH Gate sizing. I don't know. I don't buy clothes from China. I know when I buy jerseys from Taiwan, like in US jersey sizes, I usually get either a youth extra large or a men's small. But when I get Monkeys jerseys from Taiwan, I get a men's medium, and they fit me about the same. But I don't know if it's like more than that if you translate up in China.
Yeah, so here's Rogue Wave Created saying 5 jerseys, 5XL, Nike. So he's in the
He
chat
also
right now.
says they literally are real 5XLs.
So maybe if you're a small person, a blanket, you could use it as I could see that. I could see snuggling up with a 5XL jersey. You get 2 of them, one for the top half, one for the bottom half. You should be
nice jammies, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, except for the buttons, you roll over.
Well,
you're like,
I'm for perspective's sake, I'm 5 feet tall and a little bit north of 140 pounds. And I have a World Baseball Classic Team Dominicana jersey that was from one of the relief pitchers on the team in the World Baseball Classic 2006. And Duarner Sanchez, that's who it is. And that thing, it goes down practically to my ankles. It's huge. And it's basically a 2XL.
It's like a toga on you. I
mean,
yeah,
it's whatever, like a size 53 or something like that is. I don't know, it's huge.
Well, we could also have a competition to who's the biggest ranter. Oh
my God, I love it.
Yeah, and then people could compete to get bigger. It's not healthy. I mean, it reminds me of that Simpsons episode when Homer tries to get on disability, but he's like, oh, if I weigh 300 pounds, I get on disability. And here's this just in too. It's Bellinger, Swanson, Morel, Tauchman away jersey. So I guess there's 4. Is there another one? He says there's 5 of them. And he says he hit the wrong button when he ordered. So that's how this all happened.
Fair.
Yeah.
He says they're a true 64. So if you're 64 around the chest or, somewhere in that range, hey, let us know.
I mean, you could fit 2 people in them. Maybe. You could at Halloween, you could go as conjoined twins and conjoined twin Cubs players. Could be a costume. I'm just thinking out loud here, trying to find some use for some 5X jerseys. Oh, there are actually 4. Well, now this contest is just off the rails already. We don't even know what we're giving away. So
we have 4 5XL jerseys to give away.
Yeah, I love it. So
if you're one of the biggest Cubs fans who are also ranters, let us know.
Yeah, one of the biggest Cub fans who's also one of the biggest Cub fans. So, so this show is also brought to us by Cubs PS Plus podcast, Northside Numbers Game. I listened to that this week. Man, I got something to say about all of our sponsors today. Because I listened to that, and he had Brian on from Bleacher Nation, just all the prospect stuff. Great conversation. So go listen to that if you want to kind of hear his thoughts on the Cubs September call-ups. That's not really a thing anymore, the September call-ups there. They did bring up Luke Little. And he pitched. He pitched.
Y'all remember me talking about Luke Little preseason, right?
Oh, yeah.
How we were talking about who we're excited to see come up. And I was like, man, we got to keep an eye on Luke Little. He's really good. He throws really hard. And now he's got this ridiculous sweeper. Like, woo, good for him.
Speaking of 5XL jerseys, too, Luke Little.
Right? He is a big boy. Look at that dude.
Yeah,
he is Luke. It's like a Viking nickname. It is, if you think of Luke Little, he is a big, big, big boy. He's like 6'8" or something.
Yeah.
Big dude.
Yeah, super big. In fact, like, look at Amaya trying to hug him.
He's like reaching up. He's like,
yeah, exactly. And Amaya,
I want uppies.
And Amaya's well north of 6 feet tall too. So it's like it's kind of funny. And his parents were there. God, I love seeing that stuff when their parents is there. Yeah, and they were tweeting out all these pictures of them on the field and just so excited. I played the Crawley theme song to start the show, and the reason why is because he's coming by, because Crawley had himself a Ferris Bueller weekend, okay? I'll just give you a little preview by here's Crawley. Theo was at the game. You see him there in his LZ hat, CZ hat, and right behind there's Crawley there digging for gold, just right behind Theo.
Love it.
Just right up the nose. But he had himself quite the weekend. As of today, he slept on my couch last night. As of today, he had not been home since Thursday morning. So if that tells you the kind of weekend he had, he doesn't live far away. He could, it's not that far for him to go home, but he did not. So anyway, he's going to be by a little bit later to tell us that story. But we, speaking of hanging out with parents, spent all last night talking to Justin Steele's stepmom. And his dad, Ben, was there over at the Club 400 Wrigleyville. And what lovely people. I mean, just salt of the earth, super friendly. They're not being weird about like the fans being around. They're so welcoming. And I sat there with Justin's stepmom, and she's been in his life since he was like a young teenager or right before like junior high. And but she couldn't be more excited. She had her big Justin Steele number earrings on, and she, would just talk about Marcus Stroman is like, he needs to come back. We need him. And just like so cute and just so happy, and telling me about her job at an international paper, and that she keeps getting in trouble at work because she keeps getting caught watching the game on her phone when she's supposed to be working. And then she's had to take all this time off to like go see him in the All-Star game. But she's like, I got to hold down the job. Like,
gotta go. No, forget the job. If the job is not going to accommodate your baby being at the All-Star game, that job's got to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She's like,
I did run into his family at the All-Star game though. I got a picture. I do that game where I run around and I take pictures of people's jerseys I see at the game. And I actually got Justin Steele's brothers back.
Oh yeah. Justin? No, J also starts with a J. But yeah, he's a fun guy, and Ben's a really fun guy. We were all hanging out last night, and it was just the coolest thing. But Crawley's going to come by and tell you about how Jody Davis snores. So you're going to find out how Crawley found that out, and it has something to do with the hotel across the way from Wrigley Field. But it's a lot of great stories that Crawley was telling me, and he was credited because today. Dunston and Mark Grace got into the Cubs Hall of Fame. So I want to wait for Crawley to talk about that, but Crawley was a credited reporter in there. So he didn't have any Cubs gear on when he left the house today. He had a white shirt on, button down. And I'm like, all that's separating you from Gordon Wittenmeyer is a goatee right now. Like, you just need a reporter goatee. So he looked funny. He played the part. So anyway, hashtag Chance in the chat. God, we're 15 minutes in the show. We're just a chance. Hashtag Chance in the chat. We'll send you a Frank Chance postcard with a message of love and hope and doom. I added love this time. Or hope. I don't know. What do I usually say? I don't remember.
Love and doom.
Love and doom. So So let's go back. Let's go way back. Let's take the way back machine back to when the Cubs were like sweeping baseball teams from the West Coast instead of losing 3 or 4 to them. But we swept the Giants, and Seiya Suzuki remained super hot. Sarah Sanchez and I have been calling it Say-tember. Say-a-tember.
Like that works for me.
Summer of Mike Tachman, and now we're in Say-a-tember. And
I got my Seiya going. So
I mean, and here I'll put up the numbers too, because I have this is just the week, okay? Seiya just this week, 2 dongs, knocked in 10 runs. That's double than anybody else did. So when it counts, he's knocking in the runs when he needs to. And this is a team that this week did not score a lot of runs. It seriously did not. But he's got a 1.353 OPS on the week. That's only 27 ABs, but still, he had a great week. 12 hits.
12 hits. That's awesome. Look at him go.
And 4 of them were doubles. 1 of them was a triple, and 2 of them were home runs. So he's slugging it.
What a good boy.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy that we thought was coming from Japan, that was the hit king and stuff. So he's doing everything he can. That game 1, the game that Justin Steele really made an amazing case for being the Cy Young Award, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. But 8 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts. Cubs win 5-zip. They shut him out. That was one of the Suzuki homered and doubled in that game, so he was pretty much single-handedly knocking in the runs. And I mean, the next day on Cubs Pod, I got up, and instead of saying what happened in that game, I just talked about Justin Steele for about 20 minutes and how amazing his journey has been. You know, to see him go out there and just dominate in that way. We've seen him be really good, but to dominate like that was just a thing of beauty. And then Cubs kept rolling. Smiley actually got the win in game 2, which you haven't said that in a while. And
definitely not something we say often around here.
He's 10-9 on the year. He actually has a winning record, just decisions up the wazoo, but he's 10-9. In the first, but he did not start the game though, so he just happened to get the win. But that was a Hendo start, and Lamont Wade Jr. sent the first pitch of the game over the wall, and Hendo gave up a couple of dogs. He was better today, I think, in the game than he was against the Giants, where the final score ended up being 11-8. Cubs got 4 in the 4th and ended up tying up the game, and then it just kept going back and forth. And you know, this was a Giants bullpen game, and I want to ask you about this, like, because we saw a bullpen game today for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I know sometimes it's a necessity. You don't have a starter ready to go, so you don't have a guy that is going to be able to do it. But what do you think of bullpen games? Like, what is your like? We see them more and more, starters, openers. You know, what's your opinion? And please tell us in the chat too if you like bullpen games.
I mean, I can't be too mad about them. Like, they're going to happen. Am I okay with them playing? Like, I kind of like the starter strategy, to be honest. You know, it works when it works. And if you've got a guy who can throw really hard at the beginning of a game, maybe that's the way that you get around having to deal with the Kyle Hendricks first inning.
Yeah, so the top of the order, you can take care of that.
Right.
You know, with a really, you know, heavy arm, just go in there, throwing gas.
Boom, boom, boom. And then set your long, you know, your actual starter really up for success, bringing him into the middle or maybe late middle of the order.
Yeah. And then he just kind of has an easier start with it. My only problem with it is just a numbers game, which is that if you're going to throw 5-6 guys, you got the scheduled thing and everybody's going to take 1 or 2 innings and it's all going to be bullpen. There's a really good chance that somebody is going to stink in there.
Sure.
Like, just as a numbers game, like if you could get out of the game with just 3 people, like you starter goes 7, then 8, 9, that seems much more valuable than which it is more valuable, but just there are teams doing this by design now. Like we are the end of our rotation. We have 3 guys, and then we throw bullpen games. Like, by design. The Reds did it against us too.
Yeah, I think we're going to see it a lot more as the job of being a pitcher is more becomes progressively more physically taxing. Like people are throwing harder, they're throwing weirder pitches, and all of that stuff is really, really difficult on the arm. So managing workload is going to become a lot more important if you want to make it through 162 games with healthy arms. It doesn't help anybody if you're blowing out your arms at game 125.
Yeah. Well, and innings management is important, especially in this game where people are throwing so hard. And I do get that. And it's like, so especially towards the end of the year, you're like, what do we do? Like we need to limit these innings. So even Kyle was taken out of the game early. They started hitting him too, but it just felt like, 82 pitches. Like that's kind of enough for today. Let's keep going. But I saw in the chat, I think it was Alfie that said, not a fan. You are taxing a bullpen. Even worse if it goes extra innings. Like you could run out of dudes. I mean,
you can. Now, again, if it's planned, if you are literally planning it out, then, it doesn't matter if your guy who is going 1 or 2 innings goes first or third.
Yeah, and Carrie writes in, like the Diamondbacks guy today, that was PFAT or PFAT. It's probably just fat or fat.
I think it's probably just fat.
But yeah, but it looks like, but he fucking sucked because he gave up 3.
Fucked up. That's what he did.
He fucked up and gave up 3 fucking home fucking. I can't do home runs with it. There's an H there. It already has an H. Is the problem. So, and then David says, I am warming to the idea of a starter who pitches 1 or 2 innings and then a guy who comes in through those middle innings.
Yeah, and that's more like what I'm talking about.
So it's like starter, then piggyback. Maybe you get, and there were some that weren't there somewhere Assad went like 5 in the middle too?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Your long guy. Like, you bring in your really good dude, then you bring in your Tyler Chatwood or whoever. Your dude who's going to go maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe if you're really lucky, 6 innings. But like knowing that you're getting you're getting that hard start, those first guys in the order out of the way early on. So you're not worrying about giving up that first inning home run. You're not worrying about like loading the bases first thing and getting your starter like down on himself. But give them a little bit of an easier road in, especially if it's somebody who doesn't have that starter confidence yet. Maybe good for young guys who are building up their workload or things like that. And, I'm like I said, I'm not mad about it when it happens. You're going to end up late in the season. Guys are getting hurt. Guys are tired. You're going to end up with a bullpen game here and there. And I think that's pretty normal. And it's not so much taxing a bullpen as it is using a bullpen. Like that's literally what they're there for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're just pitchers and it shouldn't matter what inning it is. I know it does that, some guys can't close. Some guys don't only like clean innings.
There's so much like pitchers are insane that we have to start with that. You have to be absolutely crazy in your noggin to be a major league pitcher. There's no other way you make it there. And there is so much of the mental game that goes into being a major league pitcher that you do have to take things like that into account. That so-and-so is only good when he's facing the middle of the order. Or so-and-so is only good when he comes into a clean inning or whatever. Like, because that's just the reality of it. That's like the religion side of the science and religion of baseball that I'm always talking about.
Michael had a good rant on Cubs Pod this morning about that, of just the religion of it and these people that are actually playing this game and how Justin Steele is so valuable in that way, because you look at all his peripherals are fine actually at this point, but the fact that he only has a couple pitches, the fact that this shouldn't be working as well as it's working, or it's driving the stat nerds nuts. And
sometimes you just need to walk by faith and hope that it keeps working.
Yeah, well, and it is working, and so but that's the person of Justin Steele succeeding because he's decided to be awesome. Like it's really him, the person. Like, this is not stats that are playing this game. And it's
Right.
I like these comments in the chat here. I want to bring up about this very thing. Mike Waller from the Cubs PS Plus podcast says, "Don't love it, but if you think that's your best way to win, do it. If you don't have 5 real starters, you have to figure something out." And yeah, you got to figure something out, and that's what it is. And this one too from Bill: pitcher who starts a game should have to pitch to 9 hitters. Interesting rule. It's valuing somewhat of a length. You know, you got the 3-batter rule, starter 9-batter rule. I mean, it could be 9-0 by the time that ends.
Exactly. I don't agree with that. I think 3 is a perfectly fine number to settle on before changing pitchers. If somebody comes in and they hurt themselves, we don't want to like force them to continue throwing to people. Or if they literally just don't have it, then take them out, man. Nobody needs to see that.
And then let's move on to game 3 a little bit for the Giants. This was when the sweep was completed. 8-2 was the final. An easy win. Cubs went up 3-zip in the first, never looked back. Jordan Wicks gave up 9 hits, which is a lot, but no runs. So that's kind of hard to do. Went 6.2, 87 pitches. Suzuki stayed hot, had a bases. That was the 3-0 in the first, was a bases clearing double that kind of came out of nowhere. I think there were 2 outs, and then there was like a walk, and then somebody else got it. I mean, it was kind of unfolded, the inning. It seemed like it was about over, and then everybody just kept getting on base, and then Suzuki came through big. Amaya homered in that one. Bellinger homered. Bellinger's been hot this week. He had a couple homers, including one today. He's got 2 on the week as well to go with Saya's 2 and Morel's 2. Morel hit another one today. And so, yeah, can
I just say win. For a moment how happy I am that Cody Bellinger is having the season that he's having. I know everybody's freaking out. You know, we got to sign Billy in the offseason. We got to blah, blah, blah. I'm just happy for Cody Bellinger no matter what happens. Like, he came onto the team and we basically had no expectations for him whatsoever. And he's done a really great job this season. And I'm just damn proud of him. Anyway, we can keep going.
No, I mean, and a lot of people are saying this, and a lot of people are saying, what the hell are we going to do without Cody Bellinger? Because it's tough to think about how you're going to replace that bat.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that we should absolutely give Cody Bellinger lots and lots of money to stay on the team. I think it would be a really great decision. I think even if we bring Pete Crow Armstrong up and we stick him in center field and and all that stuff, I think we have plenty of places that we can put Cody Bellinger that aren't center field. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, but yay, Cody, good job. Really proud of you. Yay.
Yeah, it's been a really an amazing season. And I think the Cubs should be right there. And I think we do have first dibs in talking to him. So I think if the right number is put down on a piece of paper, I think he probably stays here.
Who likes to call movers anyway?
Exactly. It's going great. Like, why would you want to be like, oh, it's going awesome, let me switch? Although I've done stuff like that. Like, hey, my agent got me great work, I'm going to go to a new agent. You know, do you know what? It was a dumb move. So Cody Bellinger, take it from me, who screwed up before this kind of thing, and stay where it's working. If it's working,
right
don't mess
here.
it up. Yeah. If it's working.
Jed, give him lots of money. There is a number that will let him not talk to anyone else. Find that number and give it to him. Thank you.
Because he was coming off a little bit. He wasn't doing quite that good the last couple of weeks. Maybe they figured out how to pitch to him right now, but now he's right back where he was.
Exactly.
And so then that's how he's batting well. I mean, what is his batting average on the season? It's well over 300. And then he's got the power to go with it. It's not the power he had, when he won the MVP and stuff, when he hit 39 home runs or 47 home runs. Sorry to shortchange you. He's got 24. He's got half of that right now. But at 140 OPS plus right now.
Look, how many of us are the same person we were 5 years ago? Like, it's fine.
I've vastly improved. I find I'm a much better person than I was. So let's move on. Crawley's trying to log in, by the way, so he'll be by soon. But in the meantime, we're going to
see him on the bottom just like blink up and then he disappears, and then he blinks up and then he disappears.
Well, I'm trying to get him to to log in. So he's got such great pictures of the weekend. So I'm trying to get him to log in so that he can upload all his photographs, because I've got some photographs, but I don't have his photographs. So we're trying it. So anyway, so I did enjoy when I'm watching the highlights or the condensed games, because they flip around. Sometimes it's the radio announcers, sometimes it's the TV announcers. And I was like, oh, there's a familiar voice in this cut. I'm like, oh, it's Salty Bob Brenly. Salty Bob for the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I knew that he was the announcer. Just kind of slipped my mind because we hadn't seen him all year.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was just nice to hear his voice. I mean, he just sounds so sarcastic in everything he says. It just always sounds like he's going to tell a misogynistic joke at some point, like in his tone.
We're just waiting for it.
We're just waiting for it. So that was kind of funny just to hear his voice coming through. But this series did not go well. I mean, we're flying high. We're like a game out from the Brewers. We're about to take over the freaking division. And then what happens? We lose 3 straight. It's just 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And I mean, and now look at us. We're now 3 games back. So the division now seems tough again because there's time off the calendar.
Right. Shout out to the Yankees, though.
Yeah.
Not only breaking a no-hitter that had gone into extra innings, but then pulling out the win. Far be it from me to actually give the Yankees credit for anything, but this time, thanks, guys.
Yeah, seriously, it's really hard to make me like the Yankees, but there it was. It's like me laughing at Jeff Garland. It's just rarely going to happen. I'm like, so, they beat them today, and that's really why we're 3 back. Otherwise, we're still sitting there at 4. And I've been hearing it on the text from Eric Wheelo. He's texting me all the time, and he's like, "Hey, little boy, enjoying your
tagging me on Twitter and stuff." Like, dude, go away.
Raising L flags and stuff. It's bad. I didn't have the heart to tell him it was an upside down 7, but what are you going to do? They teach that.
Read over there.
Yeah, they're still teaching old math in Milwaukee, so they don't know. But yeah, game 1, Assad wasn't great, and he battled though. He went out there. He gave up a couple homers to Pham and Marte. Pham hit 2 in that game. Assad gave up 1 of them. Gross. And they had a rookie out there with a 5 ERA, and we did nothing. We got only 2 runs, and we lose 6-2. And they were flat. They just came out flat on Thursday night. So that was frustrating. And then we got Zach Galland and lost 1-0. And Tyone was great. Tyone really didn't give up. Well, Tyone didn't give up any runs. The only run was on a Suzuki trap ball. Like it was almost a catch. It was almost the Yankees and Brewers. Yeah. So that was tough. Gallen's a good pitcher though. So what are you going to do? But the bats were dead. And then the next night we don't score again, or the next day we don't score again. We have to go to clown ball extra innings. Then it ends up 3-2. This time it was Justin Steele with I believe his 20th quality start.
Holy cow. Cy Steele.
Yeah. I mean, he leads the major leagues. So there's just amazing shit going on for him again, except for that this time we lost and he did not get the 17th win. Cubs 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Merrill Kelly gave up 5 walks and 4 hits, and the Cubs got 1 lousy run off of him. And 3 of those walks were Candelario. And just frustrating stuff.
But also,
yeah, and then today it was 5-2 victory. Hendo went out there again.
Yay.
This time he kind of ran out of steam a little bit, but
that's okay. The offense was here for him. It was so fun.
First time through the order, didn't give up a damn thing. So he looked real sharp, had a bunch of strikeouts, and at the beginning of the game anyway. And as we said, it was a bullpen game for the D-bags. Morel in the first inning, Cubs should have won by a little bit more. Morel hit a triple to start the game. He was leading off, and then I don't know. It's this play. Michael was bitching about this on the Cubs pod because this seemed to work for the Diamondbacks, that contact play where you
Right.
go on contact from third base. The Diamondbacks score on that play.
Right.
They're faster than us on average. But we never seem to.
To be fair, they have
always
Corbin Carroll, who is like ridiculous fast. So that's probably skewing the average a little bit.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, it never works for us.
Yeah.
It never, ever works for the Cubs. We never are able to score on that contact from third play. So, but they do it. But in today's game, the 3 home runs in the third inning from Morel, Belly, and Swanson, just nice to see. It was a beautiful day at Wrigley Field. I was there with my mom. We got great seats. Talked to Josh, who's everybody on this show at least knows John Benedek as the Oregon player. Josh also, they split the season. He's on Oregon. Got to wave to Miguel Esparza, our friend, because they're sitting right over there by the booth. So everybody was so nice. Met a couple of people from Twitter, came over and said hi. So hi, everybody. And it was just nice to sit out there and see a W. And people are saying that my mom has to now go to all the games because she's obviously.
That sounds like good math to me.
So it was a kind of a messy way of getting there. I wish we did better, but we went 4-3 on the week, and we've treaded water to the point where we are right back where we were. We're in the second wild card spot, 2 games up on it, and 2 games up on the third spot, and 2 games back of the first spot. And if the season were to end today, we would go to Philadelphia and we would play there, a 3-game series. So there it is. I mean,
so how confident are you that our pitching staff could withstand the wrath of leadoff Kyle Schwarber?
Well, maybe we'll use an opener and handle him. It'll be Mark Leiter Jr. to neutralize the lefties, to start out. We'll throw Luke Little out there the first
inning. There you go.
Against Kyle Schwarber and call it an afternoon. So the Cubs after the game, they took off and they had a little fun. They made it's not just rookies that are having to do it. I guess it's numerous dudes are dressing like Mario Kart or something. So I don't know if you saw this IFG, but
yes, look at that, Bert.
Here's the Cubs leaving Wrigley Field. There's oh my God, Jordan Wicks. He should actually dress like this anyway. Like, he looks good.
It's working for him.
Yeah, with the little mushroom hat. I like it. And I don't know what these guys are called.
Yoshi.
Okay, so we got a couple of Yoshi. Is that Quas? And I can't tell who the other guy is.
I can't really tell either. Do you have the other one, though?
Yeah, this one.
There we go. Seiya and Toy.
Yeah, so Toy's dressed like a banana. And Seiya's a monkey.
He's Donkey Kong.
Oh, it's Donkey. Oh, DK, I see. Okay.
So we have Donkey Seiya and Toy the banana.
Yeah,
which is delightful and warms my soul.
So that's good stuff. That's Joe. I know a lot of teams do this. Little Joe Madden-esque in a way, but just great times. Nice to see them having fun.
I love it.
And it was nice to get a win today. They go off to Colorado. And we'll preview that in a little bit. But why don't we take a quick commercial break? And when we come back, we're going to bring Crawley on. He's going to tell us about his Ferris Bueller weekend. Just an incredible weekend this guy had. And he was telling me stories as he was falling asleep on my couch last night. And I thought you should hear him too. But we'll be right back.
I love it.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sonranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn, line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Son Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Son Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Son Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a Super Ranter today.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one, the only, Crawley's Cubs. Hey, welcome back to Earth.
I'm back. I'm alive, and I'm excited about that. It's been one hell of a week. I haven't slept in my bed since Wednesday, so I'm looking very forward to that. And I'm glad that your listeners can, at least the ones watching can see that I do wear shirts sometimes.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. Sometimes they fall off.
So this is I think my favorite picture of the weekend. So I'm watching the game on Friday. I just went full time at my job. So and it was Friday. That was my first day. Who starts on a Friday? Me. So I'm got the game on the iPad and I look over and I see that Theo's on TV. And I'm like, oh, look, Theo's in the bleachers. I'm like, give me some FOMO, that I'm not at this game. Where all these Ben Zobrist was there, Theo was there. And then who do I see sitting right back in Theo is Crawley digging for gold. Look at that right there. Just 4 fingers deep, right up the nostril. What's going on there?
All right. So first off, the way it works is that, I just had a little birdie telling me, hey, Theo's going to be showing up. Okay. So I'm looking around kind of, where is he going to be? I see 3 guys wearing khakis and polos in the very front of the bleachers without any Cubs gear on. So bingo, that's it right there. So he had some interns sitting for him. And then right as the game started and everyone's doing the anthem, and right when they turn around, the interns run away. And then all of a sudden Theo and his boys come rolling in there. So if you look at this picture right here, you see Rob right there, right?
Yeah. Our friend Rob. Yeah. Sitting next to Theo. Yeah.
Right in front of me is Chris Chelios. He came for a couple innings from the 1914 club. And then Theo's looking at his phone and I'm kind of giving him side eye. But here's the trouble is that when you do sit by Theo Epstein, is that they put the camera on you all the time, which I usually don't have a problem with. But I was extremely, extremely hungover from the night before, from the Shawon Dunston party. So I'm trying to drink to kind of get a good buzz going again. But I have allergies, Danny. I've talked about our allergies issues. And so I just did one of these things right as the camera's so somebody freezes that damn picture. I'm going like this. And it looks like I have my finger halfway up my nose.
Yeah. Well, I'm that's definitely making the calendar. That's all I'm saying. Unfortunately, you're definitely going to be in the calendar with looking like you're.
Wait. What about this one? Look at that. Boom.
There you go. You
go.
Does it now? Tell me.
Crawley's in charge. I'm going on a bender.
Doesn't it look like Theo's had a little work done?
I don't know, man.
He looked a little like those plastic guys he looked a little plastic surgery to me.
He's a nice guy. I was talking to him for a little while. We were talking Pearl Jam. We were talking baseball, not Cubs specific, but it was that game on Friday. If you remember, it was that great Tyone Star and Gallen. They're having the pitching duo. The pitching matchup, and then all of a sudden was the play where they scored the run and Suzuki was sliding in and they said it was a trap. And so the replays take 7-8 minutes, long replay. And so all of a sudden I'm like, oh geez, if there was only someone who could make a phone call. And so Theo goes, I'll call you in New York. They got a favor for me or something. So I was trying to get Theo to give us the call on that, even though it was clearly obviously a trap.
We totally forgot to do this. David Elliott is writing and he says, oh, can we get the story time with Crawley drop? Of course we can get the story time with Crawley drop.
Story time with Crawley, with Crawley, with Crawley. Story time with Crawley, it's Crawley story time.
We did need that. I feel.
Thank you for that, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and it just kind of gets me more ready. But we went Thursday. Danny, you and I, we got to see at Stuart's 50th birthday party. We got to hang out with Shawon Dunston, which just like just when you hear about that in your head, the Shawon-o-meter was in
Love
the
it.
house.
Yeah, and that's the original guy in that picture. His name is what? Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Dave, yeah, and I thought it was pretty funny to hear the story about how Sean didn't really like it at first. He was not a real big fan of the Sean. He was like, "What's this jerk out there in the bleachers telling me how terrible I am?" But
He was hitting like 179 when the sign first got up there.
But it always said "and rising." He was going out there in hope and faith that it was going to get better.
Well, and so it was a good time. We sang some songs, right? There was the Shawon-o-meter song based on Maneater, and we did. What else did we do? Oh, what I like about Stu for Stuart's 50th. But then Danny did the smart thing, the responsible thing, and left for work. I did not. And so who is there at the party but Jody Davis? And Jody Davis says, "Crawley, did you try my moonshine?" No,
I saw
Jody.
that jar going around. Oh my god! I was like, I gotta drive home, otherwise
Please.
I gotta go. Bye, guys.
So I said,
Jody
okay.
Davis's moonshine is out, and I gotta work at 6.
So I said, okay, well, I'll get me a cup. He's like, "Oh shit, boy, you're drinking from the jar." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, what are you
Oh,
doing?
God.
Buddy boy?
Now I'm drinking this stuff from the jar. So now it's getting passed around everywhere. Then we get to the end. Now Jody's piping up. "Where's Crawley?" I said, "Jody, please, what do you want?" And he goes, "You got to eat the peach."
Oh no!
Oh no!
So there's a peach at the bottom of the jar. So I eat the peach, and all of a sudden, like when you bite into it, like all the moonshine
It's
just comes
full of
squirting out
moonshine.
everywhere.
Oh my god!
I love this for you.
Now I wake up first thing in the morning. Me and Joe Kilgallen and God. So the Cubs said I could go see the pop up. I could get a preview of the pop up, and for those of you that don't know, I don't know if they're still doing it. It's kind of in between the Cubs store and Brick House Tavern,
Yeah.
and they had a lot of cool things for any baseball nerds in here. The 1907 trophy I loved, and they had
I
the
love that. I've seen that before. They
Look
had
at
that
how
down in
pretty
19.
that is. It looks like a nice silver pattern.
They should make them like that. See, that's when baseball was a little fancier.
and they had some current stuff. So that was Jake Arrieta's jersey that he wore Game 6. So just like certain things that you just kind of geek out about. They had a lot of Mark Gray stuff. They had a lot of Shawon Dunston stuff, obviously. And they had this thing, and there's a big long line. So if you get there early, get it. But you could actually get they do a Hall of Fame plaque for you. So they take like a digital picture and you just tell them what position you want. And so I just did manager, and they did like a signature, and it looks like the Cubs Hall of Fame plaques.
Where do they do this?
It's in between Brick House and the Cubs store.
Oh, and they'll do that for you? Do they pay?
So basically, no, you're in line, and there's like a little camera that has like a template, and you just put your face in the template, and then they throw it up there.
Oh, I love that.
That's amazing.
It was a lot of fun, man. I love going to that. We have Theo, but then we're sitting there, and it's it's Friday night, and our lodging fell through, and so luckily the Salsa King of Chicago, Marty, had won in a golf outing a stay at a suite at the Hotel Zachary. And so we're there, and this is the view from our room. I just want to show you this.
Wow. That's breathtaking. You see the whole field, or I mean, not the field, but the marquee and the front. God, that's great.
Yeah. And so we had like a little balcony. And so like when you looked out our window, this was from another angle right here that you kind of got to take a look at it. So you're looking at this and you're saying to yourself, like, it's so beautiful. They have all sorts of kind of like the restaurants in there and all that fun stuff. And so, I'm playing with everything. They had a record player, Danny. I thought of you. They had like a vinyl record player. And so like that was like the little balcony. Hey,
how did that get in there?
Hey,
I didn't mean to throw that up. I was trying to do something else.
So there's a balcony right there. They'd walk around in robes and sandals for a while. The nice little marquee plush, or the Hotel Zachary robe and sandals. So that
Very
was
nice.
an absolute blast in and of itself. So if you've never gone there and you never kind of hung out there before, there's just a ton of awesome things. It's just expensive though. That's the main thing. Like if we didn't have it like free, like I wouldn't have paid for that. That was expensive.
How much is it a night for that suite? Do you know?
I think for that suite, it was $1,200.
Oh Lord.
One night?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know they jack up the prices like during the game, and they were sold out for Saturday because we were like, well, should we all kick in some cash? And we literally it was like Animal House. We had like 6 or 7 people, like people were on the floor snoring. It was just a mess.
Well, I want to get to that story because I promised people that the story of when you told me about when you ended up in that room and people were staying there that weren't really supposed to be there, but they were too drunk to leave, and all that stuff. But that you found out you were basically within like trapped in a snoring symphony. Just tell the story about how you slept, so the sleeping arrangements at Hotel Zachary and that.
Right.
Suite.
So basically, the majority of us have been up for 4 hours, and at this point in time, and now we've been drinking for about at least it's like 15, 16 straight hours, and so like as the night went on and the more the drinks came in, we kind of had people just falling off like flies, and they would just like kind of like peel off and go into the room. So we had like a king size bed. There's like a chair with an ottoman. There was a pull-out couch, and then we had them bring another cot in there. So like we're just piling bodies in there. And so, the Salsa King and Levon wanted to go out. Salsa King is the one that really wanted to go out. So we went to Cubby Bear. They had a band playing some punk rock, and I said, Danny's gonna like it there. But then we went to HVAC, which is a little nightclub place. Then we went to the Mexican place over by the Red Line off the Addison stop. And then we ate way too many tacos that we should have. And so when I come in, okay, the Salsa King says, I'm just going to warn you real quick, I snore. I said, oh, okay. So my goal is, I'm exhausted. So as long as I can just go to bed before he starts snoring, I know I'll be okay. So I'm next. So he's in the bed and I'm in the chair on the ottoman next to it. I literally go to pee and brush my teeth. And in that time, probably about 45 seconds top, he is snoring like somebody is like cutting a log. Like it sounded like chainsaws. So the entire room just is like shaking with people snoring. So I'm like, I can't sleep next to this guy. There's just no way. And so I sit there and there's a fold out couch. We like pulled it out. So I took all the cushions from the floor, threw them in the hallway, like not in the hallway, but like the hall towards the door to get out of the hotel room. And I basically just slept on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
But it's good time. Like these are people that I've traveled with all over the place and kind of hung out with, and it's just I'm not a snorer. You know what I mean?
But you were telling me about like it was just a symphony, that it wasn't just Marty.
It wasn't one. No, Marty. Yeah. He was the one I was closest to. He was the one I was going to be sleeping next to in the whatchamacallit, in the ottoman.
Yeah, but that was it. Jody Davis like sleeping in a chair and stuff.
Everybody was sleeping in all sorts of weird positions, man, and it was just. and so like this is, I think I got a picture uploading right now. This was like a picture real close to when we were Jody. So we were the last 3. So that's Marty to the right, Levon's to the left, and then me and Jody are in the middle. And Jody's like, he did the Taste of Chicago. There's some Taste of Chicago thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's happening later than usual, right? My mother told me that Taste of Chicago was happening. I was like, wait, isn't Taste of Chicago in the middle of summer usually?
Well, yeah, and so he cut the cake. He did like some grand opening, grand something or something. But then, we wake up, it's Saturday, we have a good time. We go to the game, we're partying, and then we went to, where do we go? Aiden's Rooftop. Mm. So if you've ever got a chance to go to Aiden's Rooftop, that's Wrigley View Rooftops. Those are just a lot of fun. And so this is now night number 3 of heavy drinking. And so we're up there, but if you go up there, the views are beautiful. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't really catch a game there, but this was a picture of us, as the night keeps going, Bill Watts and Coach D and Sir William and everybody, and Kelly and Allison and Stu. And so that's night 2. And then we went later on. That's when I ran into Danny and I'm like, dude, I think I need a place to stay.
Yeah. Well, because we were hanging out pretty late, and then I could tell people were pretty, like they were done. Like we were the last ones hanging, but I hadn't been hanging out with you guys. I hadn't been drinking or anything. I've been working. I show up and everybody's just like, I'm like, I got some catching up to do. So we did have a question in the chat from Terry. He says, who was more dressed up for Mark Grace Day? Was it you or Mark Grace? And I can do a side by side here. Here's what Crawley was wearing. This is you, accredited on the field, shooting today. You're wearing a white, and people can't see it's a button down and a very nondescript hat. Like, people can't really imagine you not wearing a Cubs gear, but that's what you were wearing. And here's what Mark Grace was wearing. So he's being inducted into the Hall of Freaking Fame, and this is what
looking like he's about to go fishing.
Yeah.
Did
he forget that it was today?
I
That's
don't know
his
what to
fancy
say.
flannel.
It was very interesting. And then, just the ceremony was just fantastic. I got to be in the media scrum and all that. So here's like a little picture from the scrum. So I'm like right there. Yeah, there's Grace and Dunston and asking questions and stuff like that.
Dude, I should have given you a fuzzy microphone to shove in their face like those other guys. I always wonder about this too. It's like, couldn't they just share one microphone? Like, can't they just all get the feed? Why do they get their own feed? There's nothing. They're not throwing it through a voice transducer.
Yeah, I mean, I have
Makes
no
no
idea,
sense.
man.
Just Cubs, one microphone. Everybody gets the feed. I'm saving money here for everybody, and time, and a bunch of guys with their arm out for so long until it's shaking.
Well, I did take this picture just because I loved it. I think the Cubs did an excellent job with the Hall of Fame. If you remember last year, it was very rushed. It was Pat Hughes and it was Jose Cardinal. This time they brought all the legends back there. So you can see in this picture right here, it's Dunston to the left, Sandberg, Lee Smith, Fergie Jenkins, oh my God, who am I forget? Andre Dawson, Pat Hughes, Randy Huntley, Billy Williams, and then Grace in his flannel. So that was really cool to see. And then for me, something that was very special, a special moment for me was seeing this picture right here.
There you go.
Yeah, that's Dunston to Sandberg to Grace, the three of them. So that was just a really fun picture to be able to take.
If they could get these guys together, don't you think that they could get an old timers game going for us? Remember,
I wish they would.
God, Yankees still
Put
do it.
Andre in there too. Come on.
God,
Andre's a beast still. And so I did go to the game. They had these awesome pins that they were giving out. And then I was drinking a lot of beer bats because I wanted to collect. It was like a collectible. It had Dunston and Grace on there. So like I'm walking around with like 4 bats and I'm just like drinking these beer bats. And so that was on Saturday too. So
I drink this.
Yeah, somebody like literally I could have had like my own like beer bat snake. It was a lot of beer bats, but I wanted to like keep all the collectibles. So, and then
that's great that they're doing a little bit more now because they didn't do any of that stuff last year, commemorative cups and stuff like that.
I think that, that was, to me, that was the big difference is that they had a lot of like highlights, like clips. They had the pop-up, which they never had before, focusing on a lot of the guys. If you're a season ticket holder, you got to pick Friday or Saturday. Who do you want to picture with, Mark Grace or Shawon Dunston? And so like you got to be in line if you're a season ticket holder, which again, these are the small perks that, that do make a difference for a guy like me, like to be able to kind of sit there and get those pictures and stuff like that. So
it makes it worth getting season tickets because other than that, you're paying more than you would need to if you were just to get him on the secondary. So
right.
Get that perk.
And so, I am definitely, it was definitely just a fun weekend that I feel like they just put a lot more effort. Like last year, they're like, here's a blue jacket, go out there and throw a pitch. Like this time around, it was way more, a lot of stuff that they were doing surrounding the weekend. And it was just one of those things where you're walking around the street and it's like, oh, Billy Williams just walked by. Oh, there's Andre Dawson. Oh, there's Lee Smith, and it's just like, for a guy like me, like I'm just geeking out all over the place because I love those guys. And I've gotten to know a few of them over the years and they'll be like, Crawley, what do you, and it's just like, if you'd have told 8-year-old me that Lee Smith would have been saying, hey, Crawley, and like, I just couldn't believe it. So it was just, I had a lot of fun. And then I did go to my last game. So I went to the game Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And as hard as I tried, I just could not get a buzz going. I think I've just been buzzed out. And so I'm sitting there and like, I'm kind of slow, like my brain's slow, my body's slow. Like I'm walking like an 80-year-old man because I've slept on floors and couches for like the last 3 nights. And so all of a sudden I'm sitting there and Cody Bellinger hits a home run, Morel hits a home run and then Bellinger, whoop, there it is. If you look at the video of the home run at Dansby Swanson, I kind of put my head down, and all of a sudden someone goes, "Here comes another," and it's coming right the hell towards me.
Oh no!
It is right at me, and I'm just like, ah! So if you look at the picture, this was right in front of me. You could see the dent.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that would have been a dent in your head because I don't think your reaction time was up to par at that point.
And everyone's like, "Why didn't you catch it?" I'm like, guys, I can barely hold on to a beer glass. Like, how the hell do you want me to catch a 100-mile-per-hour home run off the bat of Dansby Swanson? And it kicked out the other way. So who knows?
Well, it sounds like one of the best Cubs weekends you might have ever had in your life.
I've had some good ones, man. And it's the memories that kind of keep it up. And not only the Cubs players, but just, hanging out with you, hanging out with Stu, hanging out with Marty and Levon and Coach D and all those guys. I mean, that's where the real fun comes in. It is fun being a Cub fan and going around there and getting all the tchotchkes and seeing all the people. But, Danny, I know you and I both know that when that last game of the season comes in, it's a very sad time because it's like you're saying goodbye to your friends for a while. And so to just kind of have this weekend to just kind of be like all together and celebrating Stu and celebrating Mark and Sean, like two guys that were just very pivotal in our Cubs fandom. Right. We watched them. Those were the guys we watched every day for like 10 years that they were together. It was, you get nostalgic, you get a little weepy. And like I said, I felt very fortunate that like I said, just like I'm sleeping next to Jody Davis. I'm on the field with Mark Grace and Shawon Dunston and all these Hall of Famers where we're literally just partying it up and just living the best life. And so you only go on this roller coaster once, I guess, as some people believe. So I just figured I'd try to make the most of it and hopefully, keep adding to the story time legend.
Yeah, well, no, you absolutely did. One of my favorite parts of this weekend, and this is just a total random thing, almost TFC-ish, is that, being Stu's birthday on Thursday night, they had some pictures of Stu around, like right by his cake. And I had no idea that Stu was a young Greg Luzinski at one point. I had no clue. He looks he's got the Greg Luzinski glasses. He's got the Greg Luzinski hair. And I don't know how he ended up in a Houston Astros hat, but there he is. But
do you take a look right now? It's, Sam Bernero? So I'll see if I can just grab this picture. I don't have it uploaded up here, but this is just like another one of those funny moments from the weekend is I'm like sitting there homeless because I forgot my car again. I lost my car.
Yeah, you left it at my house and you didn't even know. You're like, dude, I forgot.
Where's my car?
Where's my car? I'm like, in my parking
I've seen
spot.
this movie.
I sat there, and so like every morning I had to get up at 9 and put in 383 stickers. If you don't know, like 383 stickers allows you to park in the neighborhood without getting towed or a ticket or shit like that. And so every morning, like Friday morning, Saturday morning, I had to put like tickets out there like by 9 o'clock. So I'm at Danny's. I wake up at like 8 o'clock and I'm like, shit, I got to go put stickers on the car, forgetting that we drove back to his place from the condo. I was just so programmed to get to my car at the 383 sticker on it. And so I'm walking and I sit there and I'm like, where the hell? I know I parked right here because it was on Kenmore. It's like right, like three spots from Ball Hawk Corner. And I'm like, so I'm hitting my panic button all over my car and nothing's going off. And I'm like, did I get towed? So I'm about to call the cops again. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this again. I know where it is.
Again. Because there was that other story when you did actually call the cops.
No, I didn't call the cops.
I went to the police.
I went to the police station because it was right by where I parked. And they're like, dude, no one steals cars anymore. They just, they what do they steal? The things, the carburetors or whatever.
Yeah,
So I'm sitting there and now, I'm like, shit. So I'm waiting to get my media credentials. And I have a bag. I have this little rolling bag like I'm going on the airplane. And if you know Sam Bernero, follow her on Twitter or Instagram. She's a great follow. She takes pictures of all the players coming in all the time. She has the pictures, what they're wearing. It's a great follow. And but I'm walking around my suitcase trying to figure out how to kill a little bit of time and figure out where I'm going. And I'm walking past where the Cubs start going in. Now if you know that the Cubs parking lot has what's called the kids corral. It's next to the parking lot. And, they sign for kids and then they walk in and go into the building and most of them park there. Well, today, Kyle Hendricks has a car and it pulls up. And as it pulls up, I'm walking in my little roller bag as Sam takes a picture of it. And so this is the,
you're rolling back. Oh, you're the other side. Like you're walking past.
I'm to the left and Kyle's to the right.
Oh my God. And
Adorable.
no, that's where you're really looking like Gordon Wittenmeyer. You just need the goatee. When are you gonna freaking grow the goatee, my man?
I know, but I sit there and all of a sudden I sit there and I stop and I look and he goes, "Hey, Carl," and I said, "Hi, Kyle. Have a good game." And then that was the interaction, and I just kept walking with my little rolling suitcase. I did get to take a couple cool pictures. This is Wayne and Kathleen.
Beautiful. They did a nice job today. It was nice to see. Yeah.
Always. They were on there. And it is funny because I'm like down there and all of a sudden Jody Davis is like, "What the hell are you doing down there?" And then all of a sudden Wayne's like, "Crawley, what are you doing here?" And so just like a lot of guys that were on the field, Wayne and I played some massive bubble hockey. Like that's a story that I just, I literally made Wayne sing "Oh Canada" before we started playing. We played bubble hockey at Stuart McVicker's basement.
Yeah, he was at Stu's on Thursday night. I had a nice conversation with him, man. It is just wild that when you think about like the Cubs family and just like what we've been able to experience. And really, we got to say happy birthday once again to Stuart McVicker, because he's really the dude that's kind of brought all of this together. I mean, I know that you've always been hot and heavy in this, we've been, on the scene for a while, but for Stu to build that place and invite everybody to his house and to put together these really hard to put together events. It's just, happy birthday. The dude turned 50 on Thursday, and, we owe him a lot. We really do. So
we celebrated for 3 days straight. And so this is Wayne Messmer and me playing bubble hockey. And I did beat him 2-0, but it was an intense game. I'm pretty good at bubble hockey, man. It was about as intense as a game. And he was, just Wayne and Kathleen, great people, but one hell of a night. I'll tell you that much.
Well, we should let you go and get some sleep. And, you haven't been home.
No,
your kids forgot who you are. They got a new dad somewhere stashed in a closet.
Yeah. You know what though? But again, I did get to play bubble hockey and again, just to sit there and be literally feet away from every Cubs legend wearing a blue blazer. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Freaking amazing. Awesome weekend. And hey, the Cubs are still in the playoff hunt. So.
And right now, Danny, I've told myself 6 times because I'm so tired. Hit leave studio. Don't hit end stream.
Yes. Please do not end the show. We still want to talk about Justin Steele's Cy Young hopes.
The classic spring break. I'm at spring break and I've had a lot to drink and I'm on the phone and they're talking to me. I gotta get going. And I just absolutely hit end stream instead of leave.
And there was the end of the show and we had to come back and make a new show. And so anyhow, dude, go get some sleep. Of course, we'll see you by Wrigley. Salt. You're salt of the earth. We couldn't do it without you, Crawley.
I love you guys, man. You take care. Have a good rest of the show.
Love you too. We'll be right back after a couple of commercials.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his double U. Cody Bellinger, smoking dudes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SONRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about catcher metrics? How about a coffee or a run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni. If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside Numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Son Ranto Show. I'm flying solo momentarily. So you made it.
My quick beer run.
How far away is your fridge? So I wanted to talk a little bit more about Justin Steele, because when I was talking to his stepmom last night, we found ourselves very much in agreement that Justin Steele should win the Cy Young Award. Both me and his stepmom, shockingly, both feel that Justin Steele should win. And
Well, if it helps, I agree with both of you. I think
there it is.
Very, very wise and right on point.
That's 3 votes for Justin. And I would like to hear in the comments who else you think should win. And let me just put up a few numbers here, and let's talk about a few things. I did do a Cubs pod about this, I believe, on Tuesday, but I'm still in this mode. I'm still thinking about this. And first of all, and this might have changed a little bit, I did this morning. I don't know if any of these dudes pitched, but Steele leads the league with a 2.49 ERA, leads all the major leagues. Snell is behind him by only 0.3. I know it doesn't matter that much, but Justin Steele has 3 more wins than Blake Snell. And Snell has 9 losses versus Steele's 3 losses. I know.
Now, I would normally say that that pitcher wins and losses don't necessarily matter. Is it really Blake Snell's fault that the Padres have collectively, with their literal Hall of Fame lineups, have failed to produce any significant number of runs in most games this season? And that being said, in this case, because it benefits our dear beloved Justin Steele, I think those 3 extra wins are terribly important. In fact, life-changing.
Exactly. And the 6 losses extra. That's
a lot of losses.
It's a lot of losses. And overall, the people are going to say about the innings pitched is going to be a drawback, because he has, say I wrote it down, in innings pitched, he's number 27th most. That's way down the list. You know, you're not even on the first page of Baseball Reference. And he's 29th in Ks, and he's 24th in Ks per 9. So the K numbers aren't there. There you're looking at Spencer Strider. But then you look at Strider, and, you know, and Strider also has 16 Ws too. But you look at Strider, and he's got walks up the wazoo. Like, he's walking people. His ERA is not even in the top 10. He gives up runs, you know. So all things being equal, I think you go Steele. Steele, when you go strikeout to walk ratio, he's 9th.
Right.
And he doesn't give up home runs. He's number 2 in fewest homers allowed, only 11. Only Sonny Gray among starters has fewer home runs given up. And he's right up there. Like, you know, Sonny Gray's a good pitcher too.
Have you compared their FIPs, or fielding independent pitching?
Steele's is right. Last I looked, it was right around 3. So that's not terribly, that's not terrible. I thought it was going to be worse, because we have such a great defense. And then it was actually within line of what you would think it would be.
Yeah, like, just thinking in my head, like, what is the pitcher doing that he's not relying on his defense or offense to make up for him? If you're trying to evaluate who the objectively best pitcher is, how much can you take away from the other people that he's relying on in order to determine who is truly the best? Because, like, a pitcher win is very much dependent on whether people are hitting baseballs around him.
Yeah.
You know what
absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah, you got to score runs to get the win. Well, not in the case of Justin Steele, who can beat you 1-0. But Cotton brought up a good point on the Cubs pod today too, where he talked about the idea that Blake Snell isn't playing for anything. The Padres are out of it. They were playing for something, and when it mattered, when they were playing for something, when they were trying to get their season going, he wasn't winning, and he was bad. In fact, he was so bad that Justin Steele beat him. And it wasn't even Steele's best game. Like, here's his game versus Snell. So Snell goes 5 innings, gives up 2 runs on 4 hits, 5 walks. And at the time, he had a 5.48 ERA. This was earlier in the season when the Cubs played the Padres. And this was when it mattered. This is when the Padres lost the season in games
Right.
like this. And it was Blake Snell's fault for losing to Justin. It wasn't him. Steven Wilson gave up 4 runs in this game, whoever the hell that is. But Justin Steele didn't do that great either. Gave up no runs, though, on 3 hits. So he's better than Snell in a head-to-head matchup. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. So he's matching Snell himself toe-to-toe, and he beat him. Got one. Yeah, got 1 extra out, gave up less hits, less runs, less walks, same amount of Ks. So, and at the time he had a 1.19 ERA versus Snell's 5.48. So the reason the Cubs are even in this position to be in the playoffs is because of Justin Steele. The reason the Padres are going to go home is because Blake Snell couldn't get it together till too late. So there's that. And then some of the other head-to-head matchups with Steele. Check out this game. Like I said, he beat Burns 1-0. Look at this matchup. Now, he beat him. Now, it was only 1 run that Burns gave up. We beat him 1-0.
Hey, that's how this game is designed. That 1 run matters.
But Steele in 1 less inning had 1 more strikeout. He had 1 fewer walk. So, and he didn't give up any runs, and Corbin Burns gave up 1. And look at the ERA differences. Now, this is back then, 2.69 ERA for Justin Steele and a 3.55 for Burns. So once again, that's nearly a run at the time, and we beat him. And then the other one is from Monday. Here's Logan Webb versus Justin Steele. Justin Steele pitches an inning and a third more, gives up 3 fewer hits, 3 fewer runs, and has 8 more strikeouts and only 1 more walk. And here's another guy that's in the Cy Young conversation, and Justin Steele's ERA is a full run better. So I don't know if he doesn't get it. And this is what I was talking to Justin's mom about last night. It's because nobody in the national media heard of this guy until early this year.
Right. And I don't think that's a good reason.
Terrible reason. I mean, these guys they get their vote for what? Working for a newspaper? Like, what the hell is a newspaper?
Exactly. I don't subscribe to any newspapers. But that being said, if your job is to choose who was the best and most effective pitcher over the course of a season, then whether or not you knew their name last year should not matter.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the last thing I want to put up, and I believe I already mentioned this, but 20 quality starts as of yesterday. And to me, that is just giving your team a chance to win day in and day out. So, Steele's pitching. He's been pitching for something this whole time. Like Blake Snell hasn't been. Spencer Strider. This is the other point that Cotton brought up. Spencer Strider, his team is they clinched the playoff berth today, I think, didn't they? The Braves?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they've hit a historic number of home runs this year. So if anybody had a relatively smooth sailing to a bajillion wins this season, it's Spencer Strider.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's not the same for a Cubs team that was built, like a 500 squad, and just kind of well, maybe we saw at the deadline. We didn't know it was going to happen. It was all just a big crapshoot. And Steele is part of the reason for that success. So
they're kind of forcing the hand and sort of forcing their way into a successful playoff run at this point, if they do actually make it to one.
Yeah. And the only reason I want to bring this up over and over and over again is because I think we can help. I think that fans the next couple of weeks, by beating the drum on this, might change some minds around baseball, some of these old fuddy-duddies that vote on this crap.
I think we do actually have a better chance of doing things like that than we did, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago. All of the writers are on social media. All of them are sort of following the beat of what people are saying. And so if we are saying out loud, hey, Justin Steele deserves a Cy Young Award. Hey, Justin Steele is really, really good. Hey, Justin Steele has, all these quality starts. He's winning baseball games. He is showing up and delivering. I think that really does sort of cut through these days in ways that just sitting around with your friends at the bar 20 years ago talking about it really wouldn't get to those voters' ears.
Yeah.
It is ultimately a vote-in award, which is ultimately a popularity contest. And we all know how the, school president was elected. And it was because other people wanted them to be school president.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, any president is elected this way, unfortunately. Yeah. And then the other thing I really love about Justin, and we can get off of it eventually, but is that, he's 27 years old. He had a really long path. 2014 is when he started with the Cubs. It's been a long time getting there. He had Tommy John. If you're going to have Tommy John, have it during a global pandemic, because then there's no games and you're just rehabbing and you can't play anyway. And if that's when you're going to have Tommy John, that's the time to do it. And when he came back stronger. And, he's not one of these travel ball boys. He's not.
No. He's put in the work, and he was certainly not, showing up with a silver spoon in his mouth and expecting to be handed the world. And he really has worked for what he's gotten, and I respect the hell out of him for it. Yeah,
he's no Nepo baby. That's for sure. By the way, I keep forgetting to say this. #Chance in the chat if you want to win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. And also, I was going to say shop it in the Clutch shirts, but I already had a commercial to tell you to do that. Lots of great stuff. Did you see Bill in the Morel shirt?
I love it. Remember, so if you haven't been following the Patreon Discord, Bill talked a lot of crap about Christopher Morel, and I was like, I'm very offended by this. And so for a long time, he had a thing where every time Christopher Morel did something good, he had to apologize to me personally for offending Christopher Morel. And eventually he bought the In the Clutch Christopher Morel shirt. And that's when I granted Bill forgiveness and said that his time of penance and penitence is over and he may go and sin no more.
Congratulations, Bill. Well, he's going to sin more. That's just who he is. So a little bit of more news. It looks like Stroh might be coming back, and this is exciting news. Locked On Cubs tweeted out something Bruce Levine said this on 670 The Score, which is that Marcus Stroman might be coming back. And it would be not as a starter because he doesn't have enough time to probably build back up to that, but he could contribute in the bullpen and give us.
I mean, I said this again in the Discord, over under 2.5 starts before he's on the injured list again.
I mean, it would be really nice to see him come back, and I want him to be perfectly healthy. Like, what if he could come back for the playoffs, and then, because he might not come back at all. He might come back next year. The opt-out, we don't really know what's going to happen with that. And so I'm like, if we get to the playoffs, though, and we could use him in the pen in a 3-game series, like, that could be great. I mean,
sure. But I mean, even pitching out of a major league bullpen is hugely taxing on the body. And that injury that he had, which if y'all don't recall, he has fractured rib cartilage, which is something that happens like in car accidents and things like that. But like a major league pitcher can do that to themselves simply by like the sheer force of them throwing with their arm. Like our bone or our muscles are strong enough to break bones if you are not like listening to your body enough to the point where you are stopping doing really violent motions, and which is what pitchers do. Because again, as I mentioned before, pitchers are insane. That's how they're able to be good. And, like under normal circumstances for people who aren't major league pitchers, broken rib cartilage is 6 to 12 weeks of recovery time before you're returning to normal activities. And pitching major league baseball games is not normal activities. Yeah. So like, I am so concerned that they are rushing him back. And I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope he comes back and he kills it. Like if he's going to come back and throw, I hope he's awesome. And he's the best relief pitcher we have on the team. And, I hope it's great, but also I'm terribly concerned that they are jumping the gun here, bringing him back so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he did come back. There was another injury that he came back real fast from too. So maybe he's just like a super healer, and he just like.
But, hey, if he's Wolverine, then awesome. I just, it's concerning to me personally. I just don't like to see people hurt.
Well, yeah, it would suck to have him come back the last week and walk off the field after throwing 5 pitches, and you're like, oh, well, there we go. That we got our answer there. He's also up for the Roberto Clemente Award. Probably a lot for his work that he did with the Lost Boys, which is pretty cool, considering we're connected with them in a big way here on this show. And to be connected with a guy that's going to win I was there the day he went and read books and gave them all his children's book that he wrote. So congratulations to him. I guess they don't take anti-Semitic tweets into account. Maybe they don't know about this stuff, but I mean, he does do good work for the community as well as say dumb crap on Twitter sometimes. So there's that. And the other thing that happened is that there were a few transactions. Shane Green went away. Keegan Thompson went away. Brad Boxberger came back, but I don't think he pitched. At least he didn't today. I don't think he did yesterday either. Yeah,
and they might be, I don't know, easing his way in or something. I haven't seen Brad Boxberger either. But he is allegedly back from the 60-day injured list. Yay!
Yeah, so he's back. And Luke Little, we saw. Brandon Hughes, he went on a rehab assignment to Iowa. So maybe that's another lefty that we could count on. We'll see how it goes for him. But there are options now. And some of these dudes are coming back that we didn't think we'd ever see again, really. And maybe they will be a part of the future team. We're going to take just one more very short commercial break and then come back and just preview very quickly the Rockies in Arizona. If you are a Patreon member, I'll be in the Discord after this show, and we'll talk more about some of this stuff. But I want to get over there. I haven't talked. We've been going – our shows have been too long, so we haven't been hanging out in the Discord quite as much as we did before because our show went too long. But here is a commercial for Son Ranto shopping, because I never play this one, and hey, Christmas is coming, unfortunately, so we'll be right back.
If you're like most Americans, you buy shit. Lots of shit. Sometimes you buy shit for other people. Sometimes you buy shit for yourself. And sometimes you buy shit you have to buy just to stay alive. So why not buy shit through the Son Ranto affiliate? Links at sonranto.com/shopping. We've got tons of shit you can buy. Go to sonranto.com, click on the shopping link, then click our ads and buy shit. We've got Amazon. They've got tons of shit. But you can also buy MLB shit, NBA shit, NFL shit, Fans Ed shit, Southwest Airlines shit, Fanatic shit, Reebok shit, Wine of the Month shit, Beer of the Month shit, Bear Mattress shit, StubHub shit, Lid shit, Sports Memorabilia shit, Volcanica coffee shit, Vibrator shit, Condom shit, Bag shit, NHL shit, and Audible membership shit. There's a whole lot of shit that can help the Son Ranto Show stay on the air so we can keep talking shit. So buy shit today through sonranto.com/shopping. Thanks. Cubs Jesus thinks you're the shit.
Also, if you're like me and you go on to sonranto.com and you click on that shopping link and you're going, why the heck is there nothing to click on? Remember to pause your ad blocker on the website, and then you'll be able to click on our stuff and buy things, because I have been thinking that the page was broken for quite some time, and it was me blocking my own ads.
Yeah, and we also got the Amazon too, and I think that blocks as well if you have ad blocker on our site. So disable your ad blocker. Ad
blocker.
Yeah. So we've got hopefully we have a black blocker, a Bud Black blocker, who is the manager of the Rockies, where the Cubs are dressing like Mario Brothers and going off to Denver to play the 51-90 Rockies, the worst team in the National League, although they are slightly better at home. They're 29-38 at home, which is slightly better. The last game that they won was Tuesday against Arizona, who they beat once. They lost to the Giants all weekend, who we had just swept. And I mean, what can I say? It's like they've had a pretty terrible time of it. They had a 7-20 August, a 2-6, 2-7 now September. They did have a 15-13 May where they helped us out by beating Milwaukee and making the Mets somehow stink with good players. And they don't have a very good OPS at all. They have the 10th worst OPS in baseball, which is kind of surprising for a team that plays in that ballpark to have OPS that bad. But they have the 7th best OPS at home. So they can hit at home. So that's why they have a better record there. The matchups are Wicks versus Freeland. And Freeland's got an ERA over 5. Assad versus Flexen, who's got an ERA over 7. And then Jamison Tyone coming off a great outing versus Ty Block, the veteran, with a 4.58 ERA, the lowest ERA of the group in Game 3. And then we play Arizona again right after that in Arizona. So it's West Coast time, later games. One team is in it, one team's out of it. What are you thinking? Give me a weak prediction here.
Somebody's asking if Chris Bryant is injured, which is just.
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
There is your answer.
Yeah, he is. He's on the 10-day IL right now.
How many 10 days has he been on the 10-day IL?
I'm looking at his last game played was July 22nd. So that's
a lot of 10 days.
Many a 10-day. Yeah.
I feel like at this point he just likes being paid not to play baseball.
I mean, I don't know what it's so sad when a dude's it's an injury that causes his career to be cut short. But in this case, it's been multiple nagging, weird, dumb things. It's almost like he's like born under a bad sign or something. And like, it's like unlucky number 13 or the horseshoe upside down or something is happening to him that, he just walks out of the door and steps on a rake and hits him in the face kind of guy.
It's sad.
It's very
Our
sad.
MVP.
Yeah. No, it really stinks. But I do want to say this. If you listen to Cubs Pod, we had Artie Boucher, who is both a Cubs and a Rockies fan and a longtime listener and supporter of the Son Ranto Show and a podcaster of the Wrestling with Altitude podcast, wrestling podcast. He said, hey, guys, can I do the Cubs Pod when the Cubs are playing the Rockies? And I was like, sure, why not? Little treat if you're sick of hearing from me and Cotton every morning, you get to hear from Artie Boucher now. So he's going to be doing not tomorrow's Cubs Pod, but he'll be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I believe he'll be attending all of these games as well. So look forward to that. And anyway, that should be a lot of fun. I'm going to enjoy listening to somebody else that's not Michael Cotton. Because even though I enjoy listening to Michael, I've heard a lot from Michael over the last 8 years. 9, So love me some Michael. Hopefully he's having fun at that concert tonight. We are still running the Bleacher Bum Band video contest. All you got to do is make a fun video on TikTok or Reels and on Instagram. All our music is on there, ready to go. All the Bleacher Bum Band songs are available for you to use to make these videos. It's a great way to help us promote the new album and our music, but also you could win this incredible that I got with my own 2 little hands, Justin Steele autographed picture, in addition to me writing a song for you to give to somebody else for a special occasion.
That's right. So work out your best TikTok dance.
Yeah, you could dance to it. You could dance to our music. You don't have to do something fancy. This is TikTok. People are literally watching like old men's teeth fall out of their mouth to a sound that goes boing boing, and that goes viral and gets 1 million views. You could do that to a Bleacher Bum Band song, and I might think it's funny enough to have you win. So yeah, please do that and join that, because Joey's running away with it. Joey is every week, he's got a new one, and just check out him. Follow him at Wrigleyville Bum. He might be on the post show tonight. Great guy. I just want to say happy birthday once again to Stu. Also, Corey Finneran's birthday was on Saturday. So if you're good friends with Corey Finneran from the now defunct IVNV podcast, wish him happy birthday, because it just passed. And on Wednesday, I see on the Ranter calendar that Grace Evans's birthday is coming up, and her dad is a big fan of memorabilia for one, and has been a big supporter of John Baker Day over the years, and also has just been a big supporter of Club 400. So just another family member having a birthday is really what I'm trying to tell everybody. And so happy birthday to Grace. And we're coming up on it, only 10 days away from Dan Nielsen's birthday as well, where we're going to get together with his parents and his friends, and we're going to go out to the bleachers. We're going to probably meet beforehand. I haven't really worked out the details of that, but I've got a Facebook event, and you should join it. I just dropped the link in the chat, and you should join us. Just get a bleacher ticket, find us. We'll all be together. We got a message going out on the video board, which was all from the money we raised from the ranters. And I don't know, I'm not really looking forward to that game, because it's sad, because, if you don't know, Dan died. So that's why we're getting together for his birthday. But I feel like it's what he would have wanted.
Yeah.
So there's Dan standing there on the field on the Cubs batting circle, and his mom sent me this picture of Dan's grave, which is all
beautiful,
covered in Cubs stuff too. So
it's
so 83-22. So Crawley had himself a wild weekend, and he said, "What, you only get the one trip around the rock, or what?" I forget what he said. The one ride on the roller coaster, right? So that's where we are. Let's enjoy our lives, and
we should all be so lucky to have so many people who want to come together and celebrate our lives at the end of it.
Yeah, no, I really hope that my funeral is just a great party that I will have FOMO to miss, so much so that I haunt the party.
Exactly. Have a party so good that your friend comes back to see how much fun you're having.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. So I got a couple of TFCs, and I saw you added a couple of videos here in the brand here. So
yeah,
what do you want to show us?
Yeah, I always like to show. I spend a lot of time. Unfortunately, I don't get to spend as much time watching baseball as I want to, because I have to work like a job or whatever.
Boo.
But I do always like to show something that makes me smile that's baseball related throughout the week. And this week I ran into, not to get super political or anything, but we all know our good baseball loving Senator Bernie Sanders, who's been around since approximately the dawn of time when rocks were soft. And he spent some time with his grandkids over the past weekend and played a little baseball. And we have at AnnouncerFi, who is on Twitter, and they will put announcements over your sports related video for you. So follow at AnnouncerFi on Twitter. But here is their help.
The Senator in the wind and the pitch. Line back up the middle. Bernie grabbed it. What a snare.
Bernie still got it.
He still got it. Pitching Ninja took that video and put us side by side with Greg Maddux, and that was a lot of fun too. So I'm going to share both of them.
Well,
the Cleveland Indians. He lines it right back.
It's amazing. Well, speaking of old pitchers, I saw this on Twitter just the other day, or X, I guess it's called now.
It's Twitter.
It's Twitter,
It's
right?
Comiskey. It's Shea Stadium. It's Twitter.
It's the Sears Tower. So
Exactly.
the talking baseball, they tweeted out something about George Kirby, who is also probably he has some of the most impressive strikeout numbers in the majors as well. He said he screwed up the game the other day, and he said, I wish I wasn't out there for the seventh, to be honest. I was at 90 pitches. I didn't think I needed to go anymore. And that's his quote after allowing a game tying home run. I guess he was pretty sad about it. Roger Clemens retweeted that and said, this is tough to hear. Would not fly in the old days. Unfortunately, this is how players are being taught with modern analytics. What are y'all's thoughts? And somebody did share their thoughts on what Roger Clemens had to say about it. Just because you could go 12 innings with steroids and HGH pumping through your body doesn't mean it's right for today's players.
Didn't Roger Clemens like average 92 miles an hour? I'm just whatever.
Yeah, you can't really compare. I mean,
you cannot. Roger Clemens wasn't facing today's hitters. He was not pitching at today's velocity. He did not throw today's sweeper. Like, it is not the same reality. I'm sorry. Like, if you threw 7 innings a game, every game you ever faced in 1984, I literally do not care.
The game changes and it's totally different now. And for Roger Clemens did not realize that it's just simply different and that he played in a different era that did things differently. You know, Mitch Williams was the same way when he was at Club 400. He was just like spitting in his dip cup, being like, I don't understand. I used to throw 500 innings. It's like, yeah. And you lasted how long? You know, like, I don't know. So, and I got this too. This is about Daniel Palencia the other day. Just that, you know, this was the blown Palencia. I guess it was a tie at the time when he came to the game. This from the Bleacher Banter on Facebook. John Wardiga says, Palencia, if you take your stupid rosary and cross off, maybe you throw strikes. Thoughts and prayers don't work.
Okay.
Just enjoyed the anger there. Just blaming
Delightful.
religious iconography.
Iconography, yeah.
So, and then the last thing I've got here before we draw the chance winner is this guy. This motherfucking guy.
That's something.
I'm walking down. I've got my mom. We're walking to the bus stop. And this guy passes us with his family, with his full, that's his family in front of him there. I think there's another kid too that you can't see. And he's wearing a Milton Bradley 21 road jersey. I mean, the only thing I could think is that his last name is Bradley and he bought
Maybe
this
his first
thing.
name is Bradley.
Yeah,
he just saw that. He was like, hey, there's my name.
But if you're unaware of just the horrible person that Milton Brad, I mean, I see a lot of Addison Russells out there, and jerseys too. And I understand in some ways because jerseys are expensive. Maybe it's the only Cub thing you have, and you just chose wrong back then, and you're not backing down now. You don't have to look at it; it's on your back.
I mean, I haven't changed my dog's name. My dog is named after Addison Russell. His name is Russell, and I have not changed his name.
Yeah.
That's, it is what it is.
Hey.
But wearing Milton Bradley in the year of our Lord Beyonce 2023, like, why are you wearing a Milton Bradley jersey?
I don't know.
Do you not have Google? Did you not see him throw a live ball into the right field bleachers?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how he was anybody's favorite player in the first place. That's the problem. A lot of these guys, as soon as Dansby Swanson signed, we got to go right to the store and get the Dansby Swanson. I'm like, I would wait on that. My mother was commenting that she's like, I see a lot of old players on jerseys on the fans. And I'm like, that's probably a good thing because, I mean, you see your fair amount of, dumb stuff like a Terrio or something like, like, wow, why?
I have a Ryan Terrio jersey.
Fair. So, but I think that's the smart way to go about it. Don't be getting a new guy because who knows what's like. Don't get Russell the first year. Like, let this sink in.
Let this cook a little bit.
Let this cook a little bit. Let him become a legend. And then, so if you're going to have then get yourself an Andre Dawson. Get yourself a classic.
Cannot go wrong with an Andre Dawson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me anyway, because that's my era. But like, choose somebody. Get a Sosa, even though he's not the most pleasant man on earth, but but he also got a lot of people into the Cubs. So
absolutely,
I get that.
Myself included. I would not be here if Sammy Sosa had not hit 1 million dingers out of Wrigley Field in 1998. That is literally why I'm a Cubs fan and why I sort of skip over some of the darker parts of his history. And continue to own my Sammy Sosa jersey because I recognize that I would not be here without him. However, there are very few people who would not be a Cubs fan without the existence of Addison Russell or Milton Bradley. Like, at some point, you need to bring your personal ethos into the bit. And I am the person, I own a PJ Higgins jersey. Like, I really don't think that you need to, wait until somebody is inducted into the Hall of Fame and their number retired before you own their jersey. If there is a player that you truly love, buy their jersey. If you're finding a Cubs jersey at like the shadiest thrift store in town, maybe Google them before you pick that thing up.
Exactly. Why are these Milton Bradleys so cheap? I was telling the story the other day about how at Cubs convention a bunch of years back, there were authentic Dale Svaim game used jerseys, and it was signed by him. Dale was off the team at that point. He had already been fired, and Rick Renteria, I believe, was the manager at that point. And so they had this signed Dale Svaim jersey, and because it was signed by Dale Svaim and worn by Dale Svaim, it was actually worth less than a regular jersey without a name on it. So you could get the Dale Svaim for like $55 with the signature and the game worn, but you could get, it was $125 to just get something with no name on it at all. So Svaim actually made it worth less. And that to me and that's a little harsh because Dale Svaim, he wasn't his fault the Cubs stuck in 2012.
So true. And yet they were so bad.
Mm-hmm. He just wasn't the man for the future. So yeah, hashtag chance in the chat, and we'll give that away right about now. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Can we all see this? You can see it, right? Okay, good.
I can see it. Yeah, we got 15 entries.
It's always more than that. It's always more somehow. So here we go. Oh, I brought him up earlier on the show. It's Wrigleyville Bum.
Hey, Wrigleyville Bum.
Congrats.
Good job, Joey.
He's won a bunch of times too. So I've got the bag of goodies here somewhere, but there really is a lot of great stuff in there. Baseball cards that are worth money, and it's just this giant. I every time I get some cool that's like small, I throw it in that bag of goodies. So it's the chance winners will compete at the end of the year for this giant mega ranter prize. It's gonna be incredible. In the meantime, you just get the message of love and do.
I got to remember to log in with my burner and hit my hashtag chance a few times before the end of the year.
Precisely. So I think that's the show. I'm going to, I really want to keep sharing this. We didn't start the Chicago Cubs fire.
It's so good, except that Coach K's not in it, but we'll get you next time.
Yeah. Well, I'll write it. I'll do I've Been Everywhere by Johnny Cash. Cubs are everywhere, man. And then I'll rhyme them all in that song. So
that'll work.
So, well, I'll be over on the Discord afterwards, hanging out with everybody. So come on over there. And Michael, we miss you. Crawley, thank you very much. Listen to Fly the W podcast. I forgot to let him plug that. And I guess I got nothing more to say than Spagog.
Spagog!
Bobby Hartnett, Ernie Banks, Ryan Sandberg, Solly Drake, Sammy Sosa, Fergie Jenkins, Anthony Rizzo, Billy Williams, Andre Dawson, Jason Kendall, Davey Johnson, Rob Justrisny, Nick Martini, Carlos Zambrano. Kerry Wood, Frank Chance, Charlie Root, Bill Hans, Mark Grace, Leon Durham, Ted Lilly, Sparky Adams, Johnny Evers, Bob Rush, Jody Davis, Guy Bush, Manny Trio, Eddie Stakey, Billy Herman, Hank White. The Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet. Woody English, Johnny Kling, Lenny Randall, Jeno Tang, Jimmy Ryan, Aaron Heilman, Bill Madlock, Mark Pryor, Jack Pfister, Lon Warnicki, Chris Bryant, Stan Hack, Cy Block, Lou Johnson, and Brock, Ron Say, Vic Keane, Dexter Fowler, Willie Green, Kevin Foster, Sheriff Blake, Ryan Dempster, Sammy Drake, Bill Lee, Rick Sutcliffe, Jimmy Slagle, Lee Smith, Ray Sanchez, Mike Perez, Aramis Ramirez. Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet. Larry French, Derek Lee, Kenny Lofton, King Kelly, Mel Hall, Cleo James, Rick Russell, Junior Lake, Cap Benson, Hippo Vaughn, Gary Matthews, Gene Mock, John Lester, ML Cush, Harry Steinfeld, Glendon Rush. Kiki Kyler, Tom Burns, Greg Maddox, Pete Lecoq, Doug Glenville, Les Mann, Bobby Scales and Scanlon, Hank Sauer, Cal Hendricks, Larry Jackson, Milt Pappas, Jake Fox and Arietta, Phil Cavaretta. The Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet. Terrence Gore, Sam Full, Bruce Suter, Travis Wood, Jeff Reed, Bill Krieg, Larry Cox and Schlafly, Sergio Alcantara, Steve Lake, Albert Almora, Dave Clark, King Cole, Marlon Bird, Ron Santo, Bob Buell, Steve Trout, John Baker, Three Finger Brown, Rick Monday, Cal McVeigh, Jeff Pico, Felix P.A. Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet. Ed Rulbach, Bill Dahlin, El Tapine, Zimmerman, Ray Mack, Max Flack, Matt Stairs, Ian Happ, Andy Popko, Marvell Wynn, Mitch and Otto Williams, Scott Bolin and Sanderson, Bob O'Farrell, Rick Wilkins, Dansby Swanson, Silver Flint, Javi Baez, Danny French, Chad Godin, Peaches Graham, Ray Grimes, Dennis Lamb, Jimmy Sheckard, Bobby Bonds, Larry Boa, Jim Edmonds, Chris Burrell, Hiram Bithorn, Brian Lahair, Darrell Ward. Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. Then the Chicago fire would have burned the Cubs in 1871. If the Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet. In the Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving.